Aloha and thank you. Thank you very much, Drew. Aloha. So again, my name is Val Romero. What Drew was kind of talking about, my slogan or what I'm working to achieve during my campaign is bringing unity within our community. That's truly something that I'm not just saying as a slogan, but it's what I truly believe in as well too. Just a real quick history about myself. I'm a Tucson native. I graduated from South Point Catholic High School back in 1989. I have a daughter, her name is Megan, she's 26, and I have a granddaughter, her name is Penny, and I call her my Penny from heaven, and she is 4, she'll be 5 in July. So, and then I'm also a small business owner. Those are some of the basic background things. The company I own is Arizona Grill and Hearth. I got started in September of 2005, and I've just been focused on the business, to grow it, to be the best that I can, serve my clientele. And when I decided to run for city council, like Drew had mentioned, our current mayor and council was creating so much divide within our community. Being a Tucson native, I've seen us grow, my whole life. The city itself grow, as well as the people and how we get along. Tucson's a very close-knit community. You will know somebody, they say 5 times removed, you're probably 2 or 3, removed here in Tucson, just because we are such a close community. The Tucson I know doesn't boycott businesses because of what you believe or what you don't believe. My Tucson comes together when one of our citizens needs assistance. Businesses needs assistance. We come together, we unite, we are a very diverse city, but we don't have these prejudices that are being put upon us and playing each other like we do. That's not Tucson. That's not the Tucson I grew up in, and I'm guessing from everybody in here, that's probably not the Tucson that you grew up with. Some of the issues that I'm working on, the main top one right now is the police, supporting our law enforcement. I am very strong in supporting our law enforcement. And that includes, the 911 dispatch times, things of that nature. There has to be a lot of work that needs to go for that. Infrastructure of our city, including our streets. We passed a Proposition 101 where a certain percentage of money was supposed to be going to roads. Financial responsibility is also kind of goes with that as well too. Infrastructure within our city, as well as infill of our city. How can we work together with companies to give them incentives to help build and strengthen the infrastructure of Tucson. The future, my granddaughter, so this is also huge to me because I want her to have a wonderful place to grow up. The Tucson that I grew up in, the same thing with my daughter as well too. So I am interested in what we can do, clean environment, taking care of our citizens and serving them, not special interests. You probably see that a lot also with our current mayor and council. They serve special interests as opposed to what the majority of everybody wants. Key thing again, fixing our roads and streets. The financial responsibility issue. Currently, the city of Tucson's $1.3 billion in the negative. We're not able to pay our bills. We're such a huge hole. But they want to build rebuild the library for a tune of $6 million. All the other different types of spending that they're looking to do, they're spending money that they don't have. And as a business, if I did that, I'm not in business for very long. So I guess I look at it from a business aspect, going into running for city council. I just kind of give you history. A long time ago, back in 1999, I ran for city council as an independent way back when against Jose Ibarra. If anybody's been around a while, you'll know that name. So I didn't win that race, but I got my feet wet in there. I had some mentors talk to me about running for state representative, so I figured I'd give that a shot. But it was very heavy Democratic, so I did become a Democrat just for election based on what my mentors said. Unfortunately, the experience that I had with a lot of other seasoned politicians was not congruent with the way that I felt that the people should be treated. So after that, I said, I'm I didn't win, of course. I was the only Democrat that was for the Second Amendment for that campaign as well. I was endorsed by the NRA as a Democrat. So it doesn't happen very often. I think there was only Democrat in that ceremony. And it felt like if I had to be like them, politics wasn't for me. So I got out of it. Went into business, and which I've enjoyed and thrived and got to enjoy a lot of different companies in town and grow and build relationships with lots of businesses and lots of people, parts of organizations, Southern Arizona, the Whole Builders Association, National Association of Remodelers Industry, landscape designers, also member in the past of Hispanic Chamber, Marana Chamber, just building friendships and relationships. And as a business person, you don't just try to sell something to people, you build relationships. And that's what I'm also doing with this campaign. I'm meeting people. Drew and I met because of the Val Romero situation, as that was the first time that we met. We had a common thing, which we were, wanting to see her removed. Within that organization, I built a lot of great friendships and built a lot of business relationships with that as well too. There's a lot of good people in this town, and there's a lot of people that are upset, and they are, we've been too complacent for too long, and now we've upset the voter base, and I think they're upset. And nothing, in my opinion, is worse than an upset voter base if they're not feeling represented. And I don't think we, as a city of Tucson, are being represented the majority, unfortunately. That's my take on it. Those are some of the things that I'm running on. Just kind of, clarify the Republican Party, like Drew had kind of mentioned. I'm creating a lot of chaos over there. I don't know why. But I have been creating chaos over there, so I'll let them figure that out over there. I enjoy talking to you guys because, like Drew says, you guys can be so far apart in different types of things, but you're willing to come together to have a conversation, see the other person's point of view, other's perspective, and have a dialogue, have a conversation, and not be fighting internally within your organization, especially if you're trying to be unified. So I would like to open up if anybody has any questions for me. Yes, Nick.
What exactly does your stance with the Second Amendment look like for Pima County, for Tucson, for Arizona, I guess?
Well,
what do you believe in the Second Amendment?
A Second Amendment is what they wrote down in the Constitution of the United States. Our rights should not be infringed. Period.
I like that answer.
Well, that's the only answer right there. That's the truth. Yes.
Can you tell us about how your races go?
So just give you a heads up. So Steve Kasach is the current incumbent for Ward 6. He has two Democratic running against him, a lady named Miranda Schubert and another gentleman, Andres Portela, both in their late 20s. So they're running against him. Because I ran as an independent, collecting signatures, I jumped straight from I don't have a primary. I go straight to the general. So right now, they are going to be having their, fighting for the primary right now. So right now, yesterday was actually the cutoff date for challenging signatures. We had enough by a long shot. We had more than any other candidate that turned in signatures for this campaign. And none of the ward members were challenged as candidates. So everybody that collected signatures is going to be on the ballot. So right now, for just kind of give everybody a heads up, since it's a ward, the primary, only people that live in the ward can vote. But in the general, the whole city of Tucson can vote for the wards. So it doesn't matter if you live in Ward 1, you can vote for someone who doesn't represent you in Ward 6, for et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's been a strategy that the Democratic Party has used very well. And as you can see, we have a full house right now that's on one side, and it's hard for anybody else to get on the inside. So the campaign's going good right now. Right now we're doing the fundraising thing. And so we have signed the contract with the city of Tucson. We're still doing qualifying Tucson or matching funds from Tucson. So what that looks like for me is I have to get our team has to get $210 or more donations from city residents. And it's got to be city residents only for the matching funds from Tucson. Anybody else can donate, but they cannot be collected for city matching funds. I've had an opportunity to be on Chris DeSimone, talk to him. I've also been able to set up other speaking engagements with other small groups and organizations as well too. A lot of meetings, a lot of getting to know people as well. And then,
So I live in Pima County, but I don't live like where Tucson City Council would affect me directly, but Pima County Board of Supervisors definitely follows the lead most of the time. So my question to you is, what are your thoughts on the recent situation where Tucson Police Department has stopped responding to certain types of phone calls?
well, it's unfortunate, but I understand because we can't afford to pay a lot of the money that they need and money for more police officers to do these types of things. I think it's a bad idea. It's bad because we still need the security. Public safety in Tucson isn't that great as it is, and now it's just going to get worse if we don't address it. I know it's something that we need to do. I don't know the financial aspects of it, to give you specific example, but I know it needs to be addressed and it needs to be changed.
There are some instances where a police officer isn't necessarily the best person to be responding to a situation, So, like, some of the laws that are out there are not necessarily a situation where the police need to be involved. And we have the community service officers already, which I think is great. And I don't know, like, what that looks like as far as how that program is going, because I think it's fairly new still. Within the last couple of years, but I just kind of wanted to see, like, if you agree that there are some situations where, yes, that may be appropriate, but of course there are others, like children who have run away, where you would want the police to be involved in that, So.
Right, and I guess going into that, and when I was talking with, when we were collecting signatures, I had people talk and say, well, what about the, community help with the policing and build bonds with neighborhoods and things of that nature, and that seems like something that people want to try to work with the police force to work within their community where they're also the kind of eyes and bring it to their attention. What that looks like as far as is it neighborhood watch things again? Is it an opportunity for the police department to go to different homeowners associations and have that discussion? How can we assist each other for those different types of things? But yeah, you're right. There's some things that maybe a police officer is not best called for. I was at the park and some lady was having a crazy yelling, screaming match to some homeless guy laying on laying on the park bench, and he was just trying to sleep. He was bothering nobody. Me, the granddaughter, and all these other families over here. She's created the scene. I would say, the cops are never going to get here. For some reason, within 15 minutes of her on the phone, cop was there. The homeless guy ended up just taking off and leaving, but he wasn't there when he got there. And it's like, but the other day I saw a fight at my apartment complex next door to my building. Somebody got beat up, knocked on the ground and kicked. The guy took off. 6 hours later, after I called, they came and said, hey, are you still available to talk? It's like, it doesn't make sense. And why does that happen? Is it special interest? Does this lady have an in with people that haven't come on in? But I was surprised that happened. But there are instances like that, and I'm sure everybody has an experience. Yes?
We appreciate your business mind and bringing Tucson back into budget, but what are the areas that you would cut? Like, what the biggest areas where you would cut funding?
Well, I wouldn't have. You said to spend $6 million on rebuilding the library, but that's neither here nor there. I'm working with some different people to get a copy of the budget to see what's going on. I have not met with that individual yet. My plan is within the next couple weeks. I kind of just jumped into this beginning of March, to be honest with you. I made that decision. I know I have a lot to learn as far as that goes, so I can't give you a educated answer, and I'm not going to just give you an answer because of what I think, because I could be totally wrong without knowing the facts. Well, again, thank you guys very much for letting me speak in front of you, Drew. Thank you, Libertarian Party. I thank you very, very much, and I look forward to continued relationship with you and getting to know you guys a lot better. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you.